Hello there again. It's my third day of doing this, and I have to say it's a little weird. 3 days in a row is definitely a record on me keeping up with doing anything like this. Even a simple blog, don't really keep up with it. Took my glasses off because I've yet to figure out how to get these lights not to reflect in it. And I'm sure that's probably pretty irritating to a few people. If I need them, they're right here. I got my computer here, got my water, and got everything ready. Was going to bitch about McDonald's. But the local McDonald's around here probably doesn't matter to anybody on the internet. So I am going to talk about something that is local, but something that happened in a local place. But I'm certain it's not just a local problem. We have but one little comic book geek type store, and it's about a 45-minute drive from here. From most other places, it's about an hour and a half. In fact, when I lived a couple of counties over, when I was younger, I worked in the same town, and it took me almost 2 hours to get there. But that's not even the point. The point is, it's a little ways away. Gas is expensive, so you hardly get the opportunity to go. And I enjoy going there, for the most part. Yeah, some of them could be assholes, but for the most part, you knew who to avoid. That's saying, if you could avoid. Apparently, they decide to hire on some brand new asshole, or it could be an asshole that's worked there all these years and I've just never noticed them. Always missed them, or something. And, well, see, around these parts, education is kind of frowned upon, at least when I was younger. It's starting not to be frowned upon now. When I was younger, they would say if someone was educated, they're starting to get a little too big for their boots. You know, it was just looked badly upon. Now, not so much. But it leads me to think that maybe to some extent there is a point to that. As I get older, I see myself running into individuals who act like because they have even a molecule, the tiniest iota of an education beyond high school. You know, I went 2 weeks of college and I'm smarter than everyone else in the county. Really? 2 weeks? See, I'm currently going back to college. Unfortunately, due to some problems, I can't get financial aid and I can't really afford it. So I'm just taking 2 classes at a time right now. And I don't really see, I'm on my 3rd semester, and I just really don't see acting like I am so high above everyone. But there's this attitude that these people have. It's not just that they think they're high above everyone. It's as if they believe that all focus should be on them. And back to the little comic book store, which barely sells any comics now. The whole time while we were there, you could just hear this idiot just laughing out. I mean, literally laughing out loud. Now, I'll find things funny and I'll laugh, and I have a very loud laugh. And sometimes I will laugh to the point that I have pulled my groin, if that's any indication on how loud my laugh is. But there's a difference between an actual laugh, and I'm sure my audience, I don't take everybody as being stupid. Understand that. I believe that if you have the ability to get on the internet, type in something and search it, you have some bit of intelligence. And you probably have some knowledge of the world. Well, you know that there's a difference in laughs. That laugh, that ha, you know, there's a real laugh, and then there's a laugh that, hey, everyone look at me, because I really eagerly want to tell you what I'm laughing at. And this motherfucker wasn't just laughing, he was then quoting out loud, not quoting, stating out loud what he was going to do. This is so funny. Totally Facebooking this. Really? Well, that's good for you. You Facebook it all you want. Just shut the fuck up, because, you know, people are trying to shop. In fact, there was this father and son that came in, and the son was just this curious little boy, but you could tell that the father has experienced embarrassment from the boy's curiosity, because the boy is just bright-eyed and just asking questions about everything. And as soon as you walk in, there's swords that look like guns, and you know, right to your right. As soon as you open the door, they got a Spider-Man hand holding a knife. Just these weird little things, and he's asking questions about this, and the guy standing at the register, who's obviously surfing the internet on the register, which is weird, because most places I've worked, your register doesn't have access to the internet, but at this place they do. He starts laughing every time, and it's timed almost exactly with the child. And it got to the point that the father even said, is there something wrong? Is he being, you know? And the guy doesn't answer. He just looks at him, looks back to the computer, and then laughs. It continues on for about 3 minutes, and then the guy just says, you know, we'll find you a game someplace else. And they leave. And I'm thinking, man, if I was the owner of this establishment, I would be pissed, because there obviously was a connection between this moron's extremely loud laughing and this guy leaving. Doesn't end there, though. He gets a phone call, and someone is looking for something. And I don't even remember what it was that they were looking for, but he hung up on them because they offered to spell it for him. Now, here's the thing. You call away from places around here, you have to, they try to get you to spell everything. So when you are calling someplace and you hear someone who sounds like they're not from around here, you most of the time have to either be asked to spell what you're talking about or offer to spell it. Because, yeah, I understand an Eastern Kentucky dialect does tend to hone some misunderstandings when you hear it. And, you know, that's why I'm changing my voice a little bit. I'm using my, I don't want to say, my customer care voice to do these videos, because I used to work at a call center. Makes people thought I was Texan or Tennessee. Whatever. At least they didn't think I was ununderstandable. Wait, that's not even a word. Anyways, so he hangs up on these people. Hangs up on people. And how I know that he hung up on them, because of them offering to spell this word, is because then there are two customers ready to check out. And they're they're like, are you sure you don't want to call them back? Asking questions, because that's the way people are around here. Even some of the rudest assholes around here will seem nice when it comes down to dealing with people in stores. Sometimes. Some of them are just, yeah. But I'm sure that's everywhere. And he's like, no. I got a bachelor's degree and I'm not going to be treated like a moron, they offered to spell it for me like I'm stupid. Come on. I know how to spell a lot more words than most people in this entire area, I have a bachelor's degree. And every time he says I have a bachelor's degree, I'm like, what do you got a bachelor's degree in? I'm so curious as what you have a bachelor's degree in. I was dead set on asking this fuckface what his bachelor's degree was, because I was already, I've under exaggerated the annoyance that he created, the atmosphere he created in this small building. I mean, it's a building that's basically my living room, which you can't see, is about the size of the main area where this guy was. So something along the lines of 15 by 15 feet, maybe 20 by 20 feet. So, and then he didn't stop. He wouldn't stop. And I look at my wife, I'm like, I'm really thinking about just throwing everything down, telling that guy to shut the fuck up and leave. I mean, that's seriously what crossed my mind, because I was already aggravated. I have a heart condition. I have high blood pressure. I have to take medication for it, and sometimes that medication has adverse effects on me. Makes me dizzy and makes my blood pressure drop dangerously low and makes me want to pass out. Well, not really want to pass out, but I feel like I'm going to pass out. So I'm feeling like this while listening to this moron with a bachelor's degree going on about how he is so much better than everyone else there. And see, when I hear people act like this, it's the same individual. And I'm sure if you've not ran into them yet, you'll run into them sooner or later. They want everyone to pay attention to them. They want everyone to know how high of an education they've gotten. And then they want everyone to know how humble they are because they are working a minimum wage job. Because that's what he went straight into next. I could almost fucking predict it, because I've worked jobs with people like that before. I have worked plenties of jobs. When I worked at that call center, you better fucking believe it, there was someone there who he went on about his education. He went on about the fact that he survived cancer. He went on about, and that makes me sound like I'm a dick. That this guy went on about surviving cancer. Well, if you knew him and you knew how big of a dick he was, you would have been like, well, it's too bad you survived. I mean, honestly, this guy was a dick. To the point that he was calling random girls sluts just because they wore shorts and not pants. So, anyways, back to this idiot at the comic book store. He's going on, and when you hear someone like that, your first instinct is, I'm going to point out to him that he's not. He's not worth anything. Yeah, so what if he has a bachelor's degree and he's working a minimum wage job? You could argue it's the economy. You could argue that going to college is next to pointless. You could argue so many different things. Because there are plenties of arguments that would work in that situation. But the problem is, these people are self-pitying individuals who, for whatever reason, we don't declare them mentally ill. And I know, they just want attention. They want to be notarized for their accomplishments. Well, you know what? I have accomplishments. But I don't go and insult people with those accomplishments. Okay? I don't insult people. And I don't think other people should be running out there and insulting them. I know this seems a little contradictory to the freedom of speech argument I made yesterday, but you know what? This is part of freedom of speech. He can act his motherfucking way, and I can just bitch about it. He's got the freedom to act that way. If only I had the freedom to punch him in the face. Now, the problem is, I really was going to say something to him, because it just pissed me off to finally get to go into this place after we've been wanting to go there for a couple of months and just not been able to afford the gas. And, to have the experience of going into a store that you actually truly enjoy being in just crushed and demolished because some loudmouth, self-pitying moron it's just aggravating. And I was ready to confront him. I was actually walking up there when he couldn't get the frickin' register to work. And what his response to not being able to get the register to work, he grabbed his lunch bag, packed up a couple of things they had laying there in the lunch bag, and walked out the door. Then, when the other person realized that no one was checking these people out, he came up to the register, check them out. And, here he comes back in. I forgot my driver's license. Really? And in that second, I almost was childish and tripped the motherfucker and went, oh no. But, yeah, that's all this is. This is just me bitching about people who act like they are so much better than people. And it's not just people who have an education, but I'm noticing it more and more around here. When people have a slight bit of an education, they want to act like, everyone should bow down before them and fucking lick their feet. But it's also this generation of people coming up that has this complete, and they're completely useless individuals. They will never offer anything to society. They refuse to get a job. I mean, I don't work. I don't work because of my health. I'm actually under doctor's orders not to work. I do still do things. I try to help people when I can. And the thing is here is that these people have nothing wrong with them, other than they feel too proud to go work at McDonald's. Really. And that's, I'm too good. Where did you get this self-entitlement? Who the fuck qualifies you as being too good to do this? It's nice to have standards. But, then again, these are almost opposing individuals who have, one is, they're the same type of individual. The only difference is one has more of an education and the other one doesn't. The ones with the more education seek out these low-paying jobs so they can stand around and do nothing but complain, and the other ones want to fucking act like they can do no wrong. I don't know. All the bitching in the world isn't going to take care of them. It's not going to do anything about them. Just helps me get some shit off my chest. And, you know, isn't that really what people do these videos for anyways? To get shit off their chests. They keep them like a video diary, and I don't know. I mean, I've been pissed about this since last week, but I have problems with my anger. I guess it's built up today because I haven't taken my blood pressure medicine. It's just frustrating running into these people. And, I'm looking at it, like I said, I'm on my third semester, which really isn't a big accomplishment because my first semester, I skipped every class except my art class. Ooh, highly educated there. And then my second semester was, 5 years later. And failed my math class and dropped out of a class, so I only passed 2 classes out of it. And I'm only taking 2 classes this semester, so, I've been going 3 semesters, only had 5 classes, and that's not really impressive. But these idiots make it seem like that's, what if one of them had the same situation and they went and worked someplace. I've worked at a gas station before. And at the time, that's when I had the 1 semester under my belt. And I there was another gas station that we were affiliated with. And sometimes the individual from the other gas station would come by. I don't know if they still do it or not. It was full service. Well, not really full service. It was listed as full service and self-serve at the same time. Didn't make sense. All I knew is if people pulled up next to me, I had to pump their gas. If they pulled over there, they pumped their own gas. And the other station was the same way. And the guy would sometimes stop by to get gas. Always pulling up to the not self-serve, but the full service. And while I pumped his gas, he would just stand there. How can you stand it? I'm going to college right now, and it just seems demeaning to pump someone's gas. Now, to me, I'm standing there thinking, idiot, this is your job. And not really. It doesn't seem all that demeaning when you realize that a lot of the people who can't pump their own gas are the ones using the full. And, normally the ones who can pump their gas but are using the full are just lazy, and they give you a tip. That's like complaining about getting extra money to me. But, I don't know. I was raised to believe everyone's equal. Even though I understand that to be near bullshit, because not everyone is actually equal. But it's best to treat people like they're equals. And through that, I've grown to have this undeserved caring for people. People don't have to work towards getting me to care for them. I can be concerned about people who I barely know. The thing is that they do have to work towards doing is getting me to hate them. And son of a bitch, if this little motherfucker at the comic book store didn't work his ass off in the 10 minutes I was around him to make me fucking hate him. Anyways, I've bitched probably about 15-20 minutes now. I'll try to talk about something more interesting. especially with the Resident Evil game coming out. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, and I'll tell you the whole story about that. Maybe one day about getting my parents to let me get Resident Evil and the twisted shit that happened. And that led into me getting into Resident Evil, because it's well, I'll put it this way, it involved an attempted murder. So it's a little fucked up, and well, that's all for today. You know, thumbs up if you like, thumbs down if you disagree, don't like, whatever. Leave me a comment. I'm always interested in feedback, and I'll talk to you